And that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
What's up, everybody? Major retired Patriot Ojeda here. And of all the words he could have chosen, Trump called Epstein's Island a privilege. Not a mistake, not a slip of the tongue. That's not a denial. That's a damn confession. Donald Trump wants you to believe he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. He says he never went to the island, he barely knew the guy, and that media's just out to get him. But here's the problem. The receipts tell a different story.
Epstein actually attended Donald Trump's wedding to Marla Maples.
Between 1993 and 1997, flight logs released in the trial of Epstein's now convicted associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, show Mr. Trump flew on Epstein's plane multiple times.
This video has never been seen before in this context. It shows Trump talking to Jeffrey Epstein just before models hit the runway at the Victoria's Secret fashion show in New York in 1999.
In 2002, Mr. Trump told New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with." Adding, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side."
So how do you know this?
That was close to straight.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
There's footage of Trump and Epstein laughing it up at Mar-a-Lago. There are flight logs, birthday letters, Victoria's Secret runway parties, Epstein at Trump's wedding, Trump's praising Epstein in New York Magazine. And when Epstein was asked under oath if he ever socialized with Trump around underage girls, he pled the 5th. So no, this isn't about rumors or conspiracy. This is about patterns. This is about privilege. This is about justice and who gets to escape it. Joe Rogan's calling it a line in the sand. Gavin Newsom's dragging it into the light. Even the Supreme Court's being pulled in now. And for the first time, Donald Trump can't run. He can't just sit there and squirm like a slug in a salt factory. Trump called it a privilege to visit the island of a convicted sex trafficker. That's not just bad optics, that's pathological. You don't get a trophy for not going to a child rape island. You don't get applause for pretending you cleared the lowest moral bar imaginable, especially not when the receipts are all there, in flight logs, guest lists, creepy birthday notes, and court documents. You walk around like you're owed a parade for not partying with predators, but the internet has eyes, and those eyes have seen it all. Even worse, Trump's the one bragging about it, like it's some badge of honor. He calls his own supporters stupid for asking questions, and he panders to sex traffickers with deals that let him off the hook while ignoring the cries of every child they hurt. So let's get this straight. The man who promised to drain the swamp calls the most infamous sex trafficking hub in modern history a privilege. Not a warning, not a tragedy, not a crime against children, a privilege. If that doesn't make your blood run cold, you're not paying attention. Because anyone still defending this man isn't just turning a blind eye to evil. They're making excuses for it. They're accessories. And that's where even some of his own people, the very jackaloons who used to cheer him on, are starting to draw the line. Take Joe Rogan. No liberal darling, no MSNBC fanboy. This guy's had more MAGA guests than a CPAC after party, but even Rogan is starting to say it out loud.
This one's a line in the sand. Yeah. Because this is one where there's a lot of stuff about, you know, when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved. Yeah. We're going to drain the swamp, we're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
On a recent episode, he let it slip. If everything tied to Epstein ever come to light, it would shake this country and the world. And here's the bottom line. He didn't say Clinton. He didn't say Democrats. He didn't say deep state. He said everything. And you know what that includes. Trump, Mar-a-Lago, the birthday letters, the wedding invites, the flight logs. You could see it in Rogan's face. This wasn't just some hot take. This was a reckoning. Because when someone like Joe Rogan, who has spent hours with conspiracy theorists, politicians, and billionaires talking about aliens, Bigfoot, fluoride, and the Matrix, starts to choke on the stench of what Trump is tied up in, you better believe the rot is real.
He's caught it red-handed. He's in the files. We know it. Period. Full stop. That's not even accurate. We know he's in the file. We know what this is all about. He told Bondi, Pam Bondi, not to move forward. It's the idea that he has to fire her. He should step down himself if he fires her, because he directed her not to release these files. I always assumed that. Now we know that she briefed him. So he's lying. He's part of this cover-up. And he has confused even the most ardent observers here. I mean, you can't, the guy's a pretzel on this issue. Every hour he contradicts a statement.
You got the Olympics coming in California in 2028. He can join the gymnastics.
I'm not even sure. I think that there have to be an additional sports, because even gymnastics doesn't have enough flips and turns and everything. Look, it's a hell of a thing. And so this guy, you reap what you sow. He created this. He weaponized, he's done it from the birth certificate on down. He does this little thing with Q, the whole thing, too cute by half. And now he's caught.
And it doesn't stop there. Gavin Newsom called it exactly what it is: a sickening abuse of power and privilege. No sugarcoating, no nonsense, just the truth that Republicans are too chicken to say out loud. Trump's Epstein ties are real, not rumors, not maybe, real. He's the one still cozying up to convicted sex traffickers. He's the one playing the victim while dragging the country through the filth. And let's not forget, if those other rumored tapes ever come out, the ones Putin might be sitting on, or maybe even Musk has stashed away, what happens then? Trump's in a tsunami of He's not riding a wave. He's spiraling. He's not in control. He's circling the drain like a turd with a flush. And have you ever noticed how he starts every lie? Everybody's talking about it. Nobody talks about it but me. That's not confidence. That's a con. And when it comes to Epstein, the con is unraveling. Mar-a-Lago, Trump on camera, grinning with Epstein. That's not barely knew the guy. That's we've done this before. Epstein at Trump's wedding to Maples. That's not random. That's personal. Trump on Epstein's private jet. So was RFK Jr. So when he says never had the privilege of visiting the island, he didn't need to. He brought the island to him. Backstage at Victoria's Secret fashion show, Trump and Epstein chatting while underage models walked the runway. That's not a fluke. That's a pattern. And then there's the quote, Trump to New York Magazine. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. A lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. Many of them on the younger side. He wasn't whispering. He was bragging. Then there's the fifth. When Epstein was asked under oath if he socialized with Donald Trump around underage girls, he pled the fifth. That's not how innocent sounds. That's how predators protect each other. So when Trump says, I barely knew him, ask yourself, why would someone with nothing to hide lie this many times? And if Ghislaine Maxwell was just a bystander, why is she serving a 29-year sentence?
They're asking justices to overturn her 2021 conviction for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse young girls, saying it violates an agreement that Epstein made back in 2008 that shielded any co-conspirators from prosecution. The Justice Department wants the High Court to reject her appeal, but Maxwell's attorney said this in a statement, quote, "We're appealing not only to the Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised she would not be prosecuted."
Let's put it out on the table. For years, right-wing fanatics spread lies about Hillary Clinton running a pedophile ring out of a pizza parlor. Zero evidence, but they screamed it, rallied around it, and broke into the Capitol over it. Now, Trump flirts with pardoning the woman actually convicted of trafficking children. And MAGA says nothing. No outrage, no Q drops, no investigations, just silence. Trump sent officials to check on Ghislaine Maxwell faster than he sent FEMA to Texas. Let that sink in. He prioritized a convicted predator over drowning citizens. That's not leadership, that's a cult. And for the evangelical MAGAs, tell me again how Trump represents Christ. He didn't lie for sex traffickers. He didn't play golf with abusers. Are you still defending Trump? You're not following Jesus. You're following a damn fraud with a spray tan. Hypocrisy doesn't even begin to describe it. They're floating a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell because they believe Trump has the motive, the connections, and the power to make it happen. And that only makes sense if their ties go way deeper than he's letting on. You can scream law and order all you want, but if your justice system only works for the wealthy, the white, and the well-connected, that's not justice. That's privilege wrapped in a flag and stamped with the Bible. And while Ghislaine Maxwell gets lawyers, trials, protective custody, and every ounce of due process a system can offer, people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, people with brown skin with no money, no power, get none of that. They get ripped from their homes, denied asylum, and dumped in dangerous places like El Salvador, alone and terrified. Their trauma gets buried, their voices get silenced, their lives get shattered. Meanwhile, a convicted sex trafficker gets treated like a political pawn, a celebrity inmate, someone still worthy of negotiation. How the hell does this make sense? Why does she get protected while innocent families get deported, criminalized, and destroyed? Welcome to America, where one predator pardons another predator, and every last victim gets swept under the rug. Someday, when the smoke clears and the names finally drop, we pray the victims get their voices heard. We pray law and order returns to this country, not as a slogan, but as a promise. You cannot pardon a sex trafficker. You cannot normalize this filth. This isn't just Joe Rogan's line in the sand. It's ours, and if we don't stand up now, history won't ask what side we were on. It'll ask why the hell we stayed silent. So let's bring this all back to the word that kicked us all off: privilege. That's what Donald Trump called Epstein Island. Not a crime scene, not a stain on humanity, a damn privilege. And that's the problem, because in America, if you're rich, white, and part of the club, you get lawyers, courtroom deals, and special treatment. But if your skin's the wrong color, if your name sounds foreign, if you're not kissing the right ring, you get thrown into a cage, ripped from your kids, and dumped into a hellhole in El Salvador with no trial, no phone call, no shot in hell. Ghislaine Maxwell gets due process, while folks like Abrego Garcia gets disappeared. That's not just injustice, that's ethnic cleansing with a flag draped over it. And if we don't call it what it is, if we don't stand up now, then we're letting predators run the system while the innocent get buried by it. You can scream law and order all you want, but when it only applies to the powerful, all you've got left is a broken country stomping on the people it swore to protect. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.